Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Damsels After Dark, where we, your lovely hosts, deep dive into a book each week to rant, rave, discuss, obsess, all of it. This week we are covering the book 2 of the third book in the Folk of the Air series, which is all very confusing, but all you need to know is this is part 2 of The Wicked Queen. If you missed part 1, know that it's already posted, so you can go through our channel and find it there in the specific Folk of the Air playlist. This review will contain spoilers, so if you've not read this book, consider yourself warned. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
And she's like, pish posh, get out of here, you're in my way.
I know, yeah. She's but a flesh wound. Just stitch it up and let's go. Shove some dirt in it, some earth.
Yeah, that's like literally what she did.
Yeah, I'm good to go. It's fine.
Great. Good, because that's what she fucking gets.
Yeah, she needed that little wake-up call, and then also to be told, too.
Yeah.
Like, Locke may be playing in games of love, but...
Yeah. But this is for real. Like, this is for real. So we don't really need to read the synopsis again, because, this is...
We did already read the synopsis in
Yeah.
the first one.
But we will do a little brief recap. The last part we can recall is the ending of the first part of the book, which is she's falling from the rafters,
Yes.
bleeding out, and pretty much the Carden told everybody that she's the queen and don't touch her because they were trying to arrest her
Yes.
for possible assassination.
Yes. And she was rushing over there to save Carden because she thought that her dad let loose Ghost to go assassinate Carden, so that's what she was doing up in the rafters. And of course, Jude being Jude, slipped on her own blood and fell. But yeah, so now everybody knows also that she's queen.
Yeah.
He came in very like, don't touch her, she's the queen, she's my queen.
After calling her a liar and all this other stuff.
Yeah, he was a little upset.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. And so this part starts where Jude is waking up in Carden's bed and disgustingly filthy and bleeding out and all that other stuff. And the first thing she thinks, oh no, I'm in Carden's bed and I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
That's the first thing she thinks of.
Yeah, she tries not to care about these like feelings she has, but they always creep in funny ways like this. Like, oh my god, could you imagine him seeing me like this, fucking covered in blood, stinky probably?
Yeah,
she's been in Maddox camp.
And I don't think she had time to shower when she was back in Maddox's state before she headed over.
Oh yeah, no,
she just threw on clothes.
Yep.
And
so she wakes up. Carden is not there, but Tatterfell and Oak are out in the receiving room or something, playing Uno, which I think is
so cute. Yeah, because it's like a human game, and he brought it, from the mortal realm. He's playing with Tatterfell. That's so cute.
And then Oak tells her that Viv, Taryn, and Heather are also all here, but they're not here at the moment. But then they literally come in right after,
like seconds later, and kind of hassle her and get right on her and start hassling her for all the shit that she's been doing. Like, why did you go do that? You shouldn't have done that. We told you not to do that.
You needed to be healing.
Yeah.
The same gripe everybody has about her. She just goes into action instead of taking any moment for herself, just to recoup. But it's fine, because that's why we love her.
Yeah.
She's a woman of action. She wastes no time.
And she's like, pish posh, get out of here. You're in my way.
I know, yeah. She's but a flesh wound. Just stitch it up and let's go. Shove some dirt in it, some earth.
Yeah, that's literally what she did.
Yeah, I'm good to go. It's fine.
So then Carden busts in, I'm pretty sure right after that, and it's just assessing her situation, making sure she's okay, whatever. But he's telling her, hey, we gotta go talk to the council.
Living council.
Yeah. And so she's just right now.
I know. I just fucking
open
my eyeballs.
Yeah, I agree with her. What? But they're hounding the king, and he doesn't know really. That's Carden.
It's Carden. He leads by Jude when it comes to leading or ruling.
And they had no idea she was queen, so he's like, yeah, they really want to know what the fuck she's
doing.
I
want to know what's going on.
I haven't said anything to them about this until right now. When you're falling from the sky, They thought you were assassinating me, and no, you're my queen.
Yeah, they were ready to take you out until they heard.
So before he actually takes her to the living council, she's just like, I want to talk to you. And then, like, kind of gets him off to the side so she can have this full on discussion. Because, right after she was exiled, right after she was exiled, she went straight to Carden to, like, because Carden wanted to talk to her because he thought she was Taryn.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much the conversation that they were supposed to have, but they didn't have time after that because of all the shit that happened.
Yep.
So the conversation they should have had right then and there when she was pretending to be Carden never happened. So this is that conversation right now that should have happened. Like, where's the letters? All that other stuff.
What did the letters that you wrote me had to say in them? Turns out some begging. And some pleading for her to come home. Because again, in Carden's perspective, he thinks that she stayed in the mortal world because she wanted to, because she was mad at him, and so he's like begging her to come back. I wish we would have seen these letters. I really want a copy. I want to read them. I want to hear all these. What he said, some sort of promises that he wrote in there too. I want to know.
Yeah, and like the whole thing is that he was telling her, I thought you would have come back. I thought you would have figured out the riddle. I only did it to appease the chicken of the sea.
Chicken of the sea.
so he did it, trying to tell her, like, hey, this is why I only did it I figured you figure it out, and you never did, and I was writing letters and you never answered me. And pretty much, like, she gets really mad at him.
She does.
And then she slaps him across the face. Because she's like, you scared the living, you scared me. You scared the living shit out of me. I didn't think that you wanted me back. You played these games, And he's astonished by it, like, and surprised because he didn't know that she felt that way.
Which is odd because, again, we're talking about somebody who grabbed her hair, grabbed her by the braids, and was, making her bow down to him, or at least threatening to do that. Like, so Carden has done nothing but elevate their sort of enemy's situation, and so the fact that he doesn't understand that she is actually afraid of him, and I think he even says that in here that I don't know that what does he say in here?
He says something about how she can't be broken.
Yeah, he says that, but I thought at another point he had also said something to the effect of, like, I've never been like,
it was terrifying when she was falling from the rafters. He was talking about he's never been so terrified up until that point. He was terrified for you,
fearing for her.
Yeah, he says, watching you fall, I mean, you're generally terrifying, but I'm used to fearing for you. And then I was furious. I'm not sure I've ever been that angry before. And she goes, well, mortals are fragile. And he goes, not you. And you never break. Had that back and forth with, he thought that's why when all that stuff he did to her, she never looked frightened to him, or never looked scared, and then never was breakable. He couldn't break her will, like, even when he was being a bully to her. And so, being together now, he never felt that she could be that person. And she was trying to tell him, like, look, I was
afraid of you. It was all a facade.
And then,
I guess I can see from his perspective, because he is saying every time he upped the ante, she never backed down. She never was afraid, even though we know from her perspective she's been afraid this entire time. So the fact that it would make sense for him to scheme and do all of these things, that she's not expecting these types of things, because she's waiting for him to be evil, because that's all she expects, because she's afraid of him.
And she even says, before he said all this stuff to her about his feelings, that, hey, you never break, before that, she goes, whatever scheme you have going on right now, that's why she wanted to talk to him. She brings him aside and she's like, I don't know what your scheme is, but whatever it is, just do it. Just tell me what it is. Just get it over with. And he's just like, no, there really isn't. Like, I just thought you would figure out that riddle of coming back. I did it to appease the Queen of the Sea, but I figured you'd come back. And because you didn't.
Because she thinks that he played a trick on her, and that the trick was that he was going to marry her and then exile her, and it was all this, like, big joke. But in fact, the trick was just simply that she was the person who could pardon herself. That was the trick. He thought she would be impressed by this, because he was being really witty. And
he even says, remember, I did not know you killed my brother until that morning. So they were already married and stuff like before. So he never meant to exile her up until that moment. So he meant for her to be the queen the whole time. That's what he reminded her. Like, look, there was never a scheme. I didn't know you killed my brother until that morning.
And simply sent her to exile as a way to just sort of appease the queen at the time, and figured once negotiations were over, then that she would be the time she would have figured out the riddle and come back.
And he never
impressed with her, impressed with him. But I do love this dynamic because it is so complex. It is both of these people. Carden, really, I think, as you pointed out earlier, Carden thinking that this is just what they do. This is their back and
love
forth,
game.
their love game, and she's like,
no. She's like, I was doing that because I thought that was I had to do for survival. Like the whole time, that was their whole game. That's why I keep saying, even in book 2, it's like he thinks it's their love language. It's like, it is not. She's like, it is not. This is
certainly not for her. It's always been about survival for her. And it's interesting to see that from her point of view, because it has been about survival, but then she's slipping into these feelings for him. So
to him, it's going to look like that. He's like, this is what we do.
We're just enemies
flirting.
to lovers. Yeah, this is how we flirt. We're just, we banter back and forth.
And it's crazy because it even goes back to the part when Carden finds her under the table in book 1. That's why I was like, I couldn't understand until you get to this book, until you understand the whole process of their interaction. I never understood why Carden was so freaking surprised when she put a knife to his throat.
Oh yeah.
When he was helping her escape. And it was like, even I'm like, why are you acting surprised, Carden?
I know.
Like why? And it's like, it's even now he's still acting surprised when she slaps him and says, I was scared of you.
Yeah.
So he really legit had
no idea.
Clue.
He has no idea until she slapped him across the face, and he's like, "It's all come together now."
It's like,
I told him.
Now I should stop. And that's what we were talking about even in the last book. He's progressing in his love language to her.
Yeah.
Because he really doesn't fucking know.
Yeah.
He was abused, so he didn't know what love was.
Exactly. Yeah. His perception of love is through trauma and also through being cruel, because that's how he got the attention from his mom and even from the king whenever the king wanted to give him affection. I mean, because that's the memory that the king has in his collection of memories of Carden being mean. So yeah, that is the only way that he knows. But he's a quick learner. And he does really he takes this moment, he takes in everything that she has to say, and he's like, wow, maybe.
Maybe I should stop.
Maybe I should stop. Yeah. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. Maybe this is not love language to her. This is just her in survival mode.
And he's even saying, because she's like, well, what were the letters? And that's when he said to her, he said, pleading mostly, beseeching you to come back, several indiscreet promises. Pretty much, please come back. I want you back. I'll do whatever.
I'll do anything.
That's how I read. That's how in my head the letters were.
And then he also says that he might not. He sees at this moment. He understands what Jude is saying to him, and he might not be easy to trust at this moment for her. But he says that he does trust her, which he did say at the end of the second book too, when he's saying why he didn't wait for an order from Taryn as she was pretending to be Jude, because he trusted her and he was trying to show her that. But yeah, she's been too blind by her fear, rightfully so, to see him in any other light other than just she's having these stupid feelings that she knows is stupid, and she's shoving them down. But he's like you said, it's just such a fun dynamic. I love their dynamic. She's so mad about her feelings, but she's so scared, just in survival mode. He's just
going about his day this is how it is.
This is what we do.
She's so great, so dreamy.
She's so dreamy. She's such a badass. She scares me sometimes, but I kind of like it.
And I trust her with my life, even though she didn't take it.
I trust her, but I might not be so good to trust, but
it's funny, and I think it's mostly on his part that I crack up, because on her part, it's just she's right. She has every right to feel these ways, and him, he's just he has no right to feel these ways, and he just feels them anyways.
He's such a golden retriever. I don't know why that's what I have in my head for him, but it's this dopey sort of lovable character, and he showed that sometimes in menacing ways, which now we understand, but still, it's just he's so cute. He's so adorable. He's just so dopey about it. He's like,
Yeah. After he became king and he was allowed to feel like he wasn't going to be overpowered by any of his brothers and sisters anymore, and he had no reason to find love and cruelty at that point.
Yep.
It was starting to diminish over time, and now that he's got his queen, it's almost like he's able to be the ruler that he wants to be, and he has his queen that he uses, which we will talk about,
Yeah.
as a way to be like, don't do that, mommy's gonna come after you.
Don't do
That's
that.
how he rules. It's just like, oh, I'll do this, but ooh, your mom's gonna kick your ass.
But you wait till Jude hears about that.
Yeah, that's how he rules.
Shit, I would roll the same way.
I
If
know.
I had Jude on my side,
That's what
don't
he does.
anger me.
Yeah,
Jude's gonna get you.
that's exactly what he
Because
does.
she will.
It's so great. It's so great. So yeah, so Jude gets mad, so pretty much stop playing these games, stop playing these riddles, don't do this shit. This is like, and he's just like, but I wanted you to, I wanted to impress you. Like all of it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
They have that whole discussion, and so like he pretty much tells her like, you know, he didn't mind being a villain and stuff like that. And so yeah, he pretty much admits that it's time for him to not play these games and that he wants to be the king. And that he feels like if the prophecy, I think, does she know about the prophecy or does he?
Yeah, cosmetic told
Oh
her.
yeah, and he's like, my whole life I was run by this prophecy and the way my family treated me, you know, and meeting you, it pretty much changed it. I felt like even if that I became the king that you placed on me,
Mm-hmm.
you would always stop me.
Yes, from
Being
becoming
the
evil, if
Yeah.
that's what, as the prophecy foretold.
Yeah.
And he also tells her that he was feeling that charming people or being evil to people, those were just things that he just did. But Jude showed him ways that he could use those and power those into skills.
Mm-hmm.
So Carden is ready officially though
Yeah.
for the throne. He's upped his skill level and both his charm and his wickedry. He's got Jude to stop him if he were to ever go too far into being wicked.
And she said she would. She's like, oh yeah, I would.
I'd fucking chop your head right off.
Yeah, she don't care.
And so then he sort of solidifies at the end of this conversation saying that he wants her here as his queen.
Yeah.
Which is just so sweet.
And there was no game in that he wanted her to be his queen. And
Yeah.
I feel like at this moment in time, she felt, you know, less insecurities when he pledged, like said to everybody, this is your queen, after she fell from the rafters. But that moment is, I think she felt, that's right, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am the queen. I think she always felt like, yeah, I'm the queen. Even if he was scheming into her being queen. She's like, yeah, I'm the queen.
Yeah.
But like now
Yeah.
the relationship is
Yeah.
It's cute.
And even when she was in Maddox's camp, she kept reminding herself that she is the queen.
Yeah.
And that
Regardless to what Carden feels.
regardless to what Carden did, even if it's a trick, at the end of the day, he still made her queen.
Yeah.
So
But now she feels like, yeah, he wants me by his side.
Yeah.
It's not just a scheme. And so yeah, that needed to happen before they went into the Living Council.
yeah, because this fucking living council, they're so annoying.
I can't stand them.
And Carden tells her too that the living council is in their chambers where they had just left from, and he supposed that it was on their part an ambush to catch her off guard. Which is so this girl has just fallen from the rafters. As far as they're concerned, she's in her bedroom healing, and here they're just gonna
barge on in. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
So anyways, they go back to the room, and they're all there.
And I think that they had this conversation isn't very long because Carden puts a stop to it very early, but they pretty much ask her if she killed Belkin, if she was there to assassinate the king. I think they may have questioned a little bit if she was working with Belkin, but she just pretty much tells them, look, I have all this information. Like,
yes, I killed Belkin.
Yeah.
I killed him because he poisoned the king. So now they're questioning him about, or just basically saying, why didn't you tell us this information, blah, 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 because he's the fucking king.
And he, like, withheld not only that, but that she was a queen.
That
He
she
was
was the queen,
he was withholding so much stuff, yeah. And so, yeah, he kicks him out.
Yeah, I tire of the lot of you,
Yeah.
he says to them. And Jude says that she has a long way to go before she reaches that level of shameless arrogance.
Yeah, and that's funny because, like, she doesn't recognize that she already has that level of arrogance.
Yes.
She's been doing this stuff, and she was able to, like, put Carden, a prince, right up against the wall before any of this even happened, when they were just kids in school.
Yep, in book 1, she was already a badass. Shameless arrogance.
Yeah.
Also, you're fighting Grandma Mog, who is like some top tier general. You're also taking on anyone and everyone. You were queen, and even before that, you were the advisor to the king, like the hand of the king.
You already had a level of arrogance that, in my opinion, was even higher than Carden's. You just didn't know it yet.
he's just better at it with words.
Yeah.
And she's just more action. Yeah.
Well, where she was raised.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so like it makes sense for how they were both raised.
Yeah. And then so after that, the bomb comes in, and she's got some poultices for Jude to help heal her wounds, because apparently she's the only one who actually cares that Jude is like still recovering from Maddox stabbing her. And then
I like how she tells him too. She's like, he's gotta go. Like he's gotta go. He's like, well, this is my room, and that's my wife.
That's my wife.
And she's like, just go.
Yeah. We're here now. Jude needs to get healed, so
yeah, get out of here. That level of arrogance is
yeah, right. I like Bomb here because she continues that too when somebody comes in. So Bomb is removing Jude's stitches, and then
somebody comes in. Yeah,
like a messenger comes in.
Yeah,
says, Lady Asha would like
how does she
to see you.
How does she have a messenger?
How does she have a messenger? Talk about arrogance. The arrogance to summon the queen to your chambers.
That's even crazier.
And I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe Jude is still suffering from some blood loss here, but where's my feisty Jude? Why did she let this happen?
That's the only time it's like, where is that level of you saying that confidence that you have, where you're just like, no, but like everyone's having to tell her, you're the queen.
Yeah,
you're the queen. And don't let this happen.
And Bomb says, be the queen. Yeah. You don't get summoned to somebody's. To this lady, Cardin's mom, but she has no station in the court, so no, you're not gonna summon me. You can come over here and grovel at my feet.
And this is the girl she could have had killed in the Tower of Forgetting.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
I don't know what's going on. And Jude lets it happen, so she goes to Lady Asha's, and on her way down there, she runs into our favorite character, Valmorin.
Oh yeah, that fucker.
I don't understand. I also don't understand what he's doing here.
I can't stand him. Why is he still around?
He's lingering, and he never leaves. He never is nice. And a reminder, he is also mortal. So you think he would be a little more, I don't know, susceptible to a mortal queen.
No.
You think he would have been nicer to them when they were younger. Nope, not this Valmorin. So he asks her how it feels to have risen to such dizzying heights.
Yeah.
And then she tells him that she used to be afraid of Valmorin, and that she kind of questions him, why didn't you help us when we were younger? You saw us as mortals suffering and you didn't really do anything. And he says to her that they're not the same because he came here fully grown.
And I don't understand why that jealousy is so like horrible and ingrained in him. Like he is so jealous of the fact that they came there at a young age. It's like, what is that? Do you not understand the circumstances of why they came there at a young age? Yeah. Like you that bitter at this girl's trauma?
And as if that made the trauma of growing up in Elfheim better. Like, because they got to live here for some reason.
And he got to live there as an advisor to the king. So that also, he was already immediately their privilege. Yeah, so these girls came there privileged at the hand of their kidnapper or murderer of their parents, but they were still mistreated by other kids.
By everybody in Elfheim. That's true. Yeah, so I don't understand what his beef is, or what he's trying to prove here. Like, they're not the same. I don't understand.
Why does it matter?
Why does it matter? Why couldn't you have seen these mortal girls and
just help them?
Done anything to help them?
She pretty much reamed into him about it. Like, you are a piece of shit. You are nothing. You didn't help us. You could have helped us. You refused to help us. And every time we tried to come to you, and he was just like, we're not the same.
Why do I keep bumping into you? That's what I want to know. Go away.
Yeah, we're not the same. Then you have no use to me. I'm now queen. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't want to see you in my pathway ever again. So after that pleasant conversation with Valmorin, Jude goes to Lady Asha's room, and Lady Asha, I think, is like sitting on the bed. Doesn't bow. No respect for our queen.
I can't stand Lady Asha.
And Lady Asha tells her that Cardin is not so easy to love, and that once she is no longer a challenge for him, he'll move on. He'll leave Jude in the dust.
Like, this girl knows anything about her son.
Anything about her son, or anything about Jude. You've been locked up in the Tower of Forgetting forever. What are you? What do you have to say?
And you're not even a good schemer. Like, you got your shit locked in the the Tower of Forgetting, and you couldn't even get yourself out. This girl that you're saying she's gonna be exhausted to Cardin someday.
And
What?
Like,
What?
On the note of she's not a good schemer, Jude used you in her scheme.
Yeah.
Because she knew you were going to rattle your mouth off to Belkin when you were in the Tower of Forgetting anyway. So.
You were used. She was used goods the whole fucking time. She continues to be used goods by everybody, and she thinks she's just great because she had a son that's a prince who also does not give a two shits about her. Like, come
But apparently
on.
gave her like a room that she can be in to be summoning the queen. I don't understand.
I don't know what the reason is. I don't even think, even after reading so much, I don't understand what the need is to keep her around.
Yeah, maybe Cardin has some soft spot because at the end of the day it is his mother, but I don't want to read about her. I don't care about her.
I don't give a shit. In fact, the only thing I want to read about her is that she's put back in the Tower of Forgetting or exiled.
Yes. Yep.
She needs to be exiled, but we really don't hear much about her. We hear maybe like 2 or 3 more things later, but
yeah. And then Jude, though, says something perfect back to her. She says, because my lady... sorry, I skipped that. Jude says something nice back to her. Right away, she calls her out for being the person to intercept the letters. Because nobody else really would have had a motive to have done it.
Or been that close to the king.
Or been that close to him.
Yeah.
Or, like, to even know that he's been sending letters to Jude. And she says to her, so she calls her out, she says, is that why you intercepted the letters he sent to protect me? Or it was because you're afraid that he won't tire of me? Because, my lady, I will always be a challenge.
And she is right.
And there's that shameless arrogance right there, Jude. You've mastered it already.
And then I think at that point in time, she tells her, the next time I come in here, you better bow. You better.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep forgetting about that. But that is important. She tells her, like, hey, you don't get to summon me. You don't get to do that next time I'm in. And people are also in the room.
Yes.
With Lady Asha.
Her, like, handmaid.
Yeah. And so everybody's just like, ooh. And Jude even makes it a point, like, oh, this is going to get back. Everybody's going to hear about this.
Good.
Yeah.
They all should.
And I feel like, reading this part, it's like, okay, I get that's why she did this now, to make it a point that, yeah, I can do this, but you better never do this again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she should have just put her foot down immediately.
Right away. You want to speak to me, you can come.
Yeah. I don't think I would even played those.
No, I would not have. I would not have come down to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially not feeling good.
Especially you're still healing.
Yeah, we keep forgetting that.
Because Bomb was taking stitches out of you right before you came here.
Yeah, I don't know. She's crazy. It's Jude. She does things the way she does it, and sometimes it's just like she does it for a tactic, and it's like I don't see it until it happens. I'm like, oh, I can see why.
Yeah.
But in this is one of those things I did not agree with her. She should have just told that fucking hoochie mama to get just her ass up there.
Hoochie mama, because the level of disrespect.
It is. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's blatant. In fact, I don't even think Cardin would have allowed it if
he knew.
He knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I 100% agree. He would have. Because when they have a conversation too with the Living Council later, he gets on somebody about being rude to Jude.
Yeah.
Handles it. So he absolutely would have handled his mother
doing
this nonsense. So anyways, they have that little conversation together, and then Jude heads back to probably her room, I think is where she's going.
No, she's returned. She's trying to go somewhere, and someone stops her. Yep. I think it's her guard.
It's not her guard yet.
But
Bands, and she stops her on her way from wherever she's going, but tells her that she needs to go to the throne room quickly because I don't know if she tells her why. She just tells her she needs to go to the throne room.
Quickly.
Jude goes to the throne room, and then she sees this image that just like
yeah, this makes me want to vomit all over the place.
Of Cardin holding Nicasia's hand while she's crying. Cardin, come on. I just don't want to see these two together. It's like seeing your boyfriend with your ex.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
It is what they are. Yeah. I don't want to see it.
I don't either.
Every time I see them together.
And obviously she still have feelings for him, but she doesn't have a right. This bitch don't have a right to have feelings for him because she fucked him over. She had her opportunity. Stop trying to bring it back.
Yeah.
Stop trying to bring it back. Keep your shit in your own lane.
Especially when this girl is now queen. Jude is now queen.
Yeah.
Like, clearly Cardin has moved on. He's made some other girl queen. It's no longer you. Why are you here sobbing to your ex? I understand that they're still friends.
I don't.
Because we get that later in the book. Nicasia kind of confirms that they are still best friends at the end of it.
They are. And you also know in the future that Nicasia already knows Carden's feelings in depth.
Yes.
To Jude. So she knows she doesn't stand a chance with Carden anymore.
I still just want to see it.
I don't want to see it either. I feel like it's a level
holding her hand.
Yeah. This is more disrespectful than what Lady Asha did.
Yes.
In my opinion. It's disgusting.
But then also, like, if you're in Carden's position, what do you got? If you're truly just friends with her, and of course Nicasia is here because her mom got shot with a bullet that's struggling in her. So I get
the comfort.
I get the situation that's playing out here.
But she's using her mom's possible death as a way to get close to Carden at the same time. Yeah. We know that's what she's doing.
Yeah, we know it because we're girls. And we see this shit from a mile away. I see you scheming, girl.
Yeah, get off my fucking king. Like, don't touch him.
No,
don't be gross.
That's Jude's 100%.
Yeah.
He made her queen. Now go away.
Yeah.
But so anyways, yes, that's why Nicasia is there. Somebody has shot her mother with some bullet that burrows into her flesh, and it's like right by her heart, and it's magic. And anytime they try to get close to it, it like burrows in deeper or something like that.
And it's poisoned on top of it, I think.
Yes.
So it's killing her, even though it hasn't killed her. It's killing her slowly. And I think the only thing that could stop it is if whoever magic did could stop it.
Yes.
But Nicasia is like yelling at Jude at the top of her lungs, blaming it on her.
Yes.
Which she's been exiled. And then she just came back from her father's camp.
Who kidnapped her against her will.
It's like, come on, what do you expect? Like, you really gonna blame Jude? Like, you just blaming Jude for everything.
She's just blaming Jude because she's jealous.
If you're so great and powerful, where were you when this was happening?
Yeah. She's been doing nothing. Nicasia, I haven't heard anything about nothing that you've been doing for I don't even know how long. But yes, so Jude guesses that it is Ghost.
That's the assassination.
That's the assassination that she misinterpreted to be for Carden. The council believes that if the queen dies, that the undersea will be
it will weaken their fight with their throne fanatic.
Because there's no queen there. And so the treaty between the undersea and the land, which they now currently have because of Carden's awesomeness, will be weakened. And yes, that they will go. Probably the undersea would be more easily or taken over by Maddox.
Yeah, because once the queen is dead, there is no more
treaty.
Yeah. The problem is too is that what was it? They just I think they like at that point in time they're discussing the fact that they think that because of this is happening, Maddox is possibly going to show up and want to have a conversation about the whole thing and play his part and what's to come. Also, like make his demands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What did they say? They said that they think that he's going to want to parlay.
Yeah.
In order to do that.
Yes. And they said in the book, and I'll just read it straight from there, he says, due to the folks' customs of hospitality, if Maddox requests it, he and a small party will be welcomed into Elfhame for the purpose of discussing alternatives to war. So long as he doesn't raise a weapon, he can eat and drink and talk with us for however much time he likes. When he's ready to depart, the conflict will start right where it left off. So Maddox can literally just come on in and say, I want to sit down and discuss alternates to war, and then they can sit and chat and do nothing for a while. So they sort of have to prepare for that and also get ready for whatever war he may or may not be stirring up.
Yeah, just trying to like start shit. He's just coming to start shit. And it's almost like to say, like, to be smug. Maddox being Maddox, you know he's going to do it. You know he's going to see, no, because I don't think he knows yet. I think he still believes that Jude is dead.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He doesn't know that she's not until he sees her.
Yeah. So at this point in time, because he left her, so he doesn't know his own daughter is queen or that she's alive.
Yes.
So, like, he was going to come back. He's going to come back utterly surprised.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And then while they're having this meeting, Fand comes in. I'm pretty sure Fand is not yet. I don't know why she's coming and giving a message. I don't think that she's her guard at the moment, but she will be. So whatever, we'll just call her what she is.
Yeah, so she is her guard.
Yeah, she will be. Either she. I don't think we missed it, but maybe we did. But anyways, Fand comes over and tells Jude that there is that Taryn needs to see her.
Yeah.
And Carden says, well, I'm going to go too.
Yeah, because Carden is a puppy dog.
He's a little golden retriever. He around wherever she goes. And so they go to Hello Hall.
I can never say that properly.
And they meet Taryn and the other that was also there with her.
Yeah, I forgot there was like an important message that she's just like, you need to go here. There's something we need to discuss, and you can only do it here. And at that moment, they go to the dungeons down there.
Yeah, because I don't even think Taryn even says in her message anything about the other. It's when they get to the door, and Carden is asking, or Jude asks the door if somebody who looks like her went down there, and the door is like yes, dungeons, looks just like you, and she's with another.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're down in the dungeons. And who is Taryn with? She got the ghost.
How she managed to get the ghost is a kind of not flashback, but a go back to when she was talking about how Locke was, doing his thing, and that's how Locke got Ghost's name and all this other stuff, and he was careless with his name and was talking around her, so she was privy to a lot of information that Locke was doing, and that's how she was able to pretty much get his name and not control him, but able to manipulate him in a way, I guess, but not in a bad way.
No, and my question during this time is because she has his name. I don't know why she waited till like the very end of this whole situation to use it.
Well, I don't think she was around. She wasn't around when I don't think she knew that Ghost was in the cave, because I don't think.
No, I guess I mean this particular interaction.
Okay.
Because right now she has him, and he's in like this pit.
Yeah.
They're in like a dungeon. She's like sitting. He's down in this pit, and then they have a conversation. Her and Jude, or her and Ghost and Jude have a conversation, and he says, "I was the one who shot the queen." Jude asks him, "Did you receive any other orders from Maddox?" And he says, "Yes." And he starts climbing out of the cave to go to Carden, and that's when Taryn interferes. But I don't know why Taryn just didn't literally take control right when she saw Ghost. I would have taken control.
I wonder if she didn't know if because maybe Ghost was magic, or not magic, commanded to not say what his next order is, so maybe he didn't know until that moment, and then maybe he even told her, "I have to be here," because he said he put himself in there.
Yes.
And maybe he told her, like, because he did tell her, "I have to be here because I'm ordered to do something that I don't want to do," and I don't think he was allowed to tell her yet, and then I think that's when she figured it out.
That was the sign. Yeah. Okay, I guess that makes more sense.
Because I can't imagine, because if you think about it, Belkin and the Queen even told Jude when she was imprisoned that she is not allowed to tell anybody.
Yes, I'm sure Madden. I'm sure Maddox carried those same like warnings on. That makes sense. So yes, Maddox gave Ghost
in order to
thank you.
Yeah. In order to pretty much kill Carden, or not Carden, kill the Queen with the arrow, but not kill the Queen, but shoot the Queen, and then if he's in Carden's presence, to just pretty much kill Carden.
To kill Carden, yes.
But not to do the assassination on the rooftops. That's not what that was. Like, it really was a setup for Jude to go over there and be ridiculous and climb the rafters.
Though he probably, I mean, I guess he wouldn't have had the forethought to understand that he was going to stab her, even though he chased her out to the. I don't know what. He was covering all bases here.
And we'll see. I think maybe even it discusses it in the next part. So maybe I shouldn't say yet. But things didn't happen according to plan for Matt. Let's just say.
Yes.
It didn't. Yes. And so he had to like change things up as he went.
And then in this conversation, I love this part, the conversation with Carden, and when he says, he's talking about he's referring to when Ghost and Taryn, how they came to be, and he was like, well, I suppose I'm lucky that Taryn was lurking around the palace then to have found you before the ghost had ended up finding her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I will not go to my husband's estate until I'm sure that Jude is okay and she's not in any danger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, now you want to play the loving sister.
The fucking concerned sister about what's going on with Taryn. Jude, you don't care. But she does say, they do have an interesting ending here, because she says, essentially, like, again, I'm not leaving until I know she's in any danger, and Corinne's just like, look, we had a misunderstanding. it's cleared up now. We understand what's going on. I understand now.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
what
it was
it
really
is.
him.
We didn't have a misunderstanding. I had the
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
I didn't know what our love language was.
Yeah.
I thought it was flirting with schemes.
Yeah, I thought it was like, scheming. I thought it was this like back and forth, me scaring her, but not really. I wasn't ever serious
Yeah.
about it. I was just pretending to be mean. But anyways, he says to her that Jude and I are not enemies. Taryn, me and you are not enemies. And Taryn's just like, you think that everything is a game. And he says to her very seriously, because she says, you and Locke think that everything is a game.
Yeah.
He says to her, unlike Locke, I never thought love was a game. You may accuse me of much, but not that.
Yeah, and I thought that was like, okay, it was great for him to say, but I feel like Taryn must have felt like shit at that moment.
Yes.
Like,
good. He stuck that knife in a little bit. She deserved it.
Yeah, and I felt like she needed to hear that. I felt like she needed to hear. Sure, Locke felt it was a game, but great, good, because that's what she fucking gets.
Yeah, she needed that little wake up call, and then also to be told too.
Yeah.
Like, Locke may be playing in games of love, but
but this is for real. Like, this is for real. I do love your sister. He doesn't say that.
He doesn't say it. He hasn't said it yet.
He doesn't say it, but it so much as said it in this sentence.
Yes.
Like, love is not a game to me.
Yes.
And of course, he marries Jude, so which is sweet. It's sweet. It's a sweet thing to say.
He's so sweet. I like him so much. And then after that, Carden sends the ghost to be in custody, in Bob's custody, which I think is a great idea. It's hard to 100% dislike Ghost, even though he betrayed. It was really against his will. So
yeah, and I guess Jude orders Ghost to promise that he won't hurt anybody in the room and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I think Taryn uses a command to pretty much just say whatever command you had before is over. So now the possibility of Ghost hurting Carden, unless somebody else commands him with his name, is not going to happen right this moment. So for her to be taken away in Bob's custody really isn't going to be an issue as long as he's safe.
Yeah,
amongst friends.
But then he did promise, so I wonder if he promises that he won't hurt anybody in that room. So essentially, I promise I won't hurt Carden. Can somebody then override that?
I don't
with his
know.
name?
I'm wondering that. I don't know. I just know that at one point somebody said to him, "Forget all other commands. This is now the command you're given." So I don't know if that. I think the only thing that would maybe it's like a bargain or a geese or a geist or whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
Supersede that. Interesting.
But yeah, at this moment there is no command that Ghost is given. He could freely be
with his life.
Yeah, and go with Bomb and be pretty much as long as nobody else. And I think that's pretty much what they do. They keep him secret, keep him safe.
Yeah, keep him a secret.
Yeah.
And then Taryn takes Jude to her room, and as they're walking up, she asks, "Do you trust Carden?" And Jude says, "Sometimes," which I think is fair.
Yeah, I mean, he did just exile her, even though they kind of cleared up the air. She still feels on edge about the whole.
Yeah, no time has passed really since this conversation
in the
garden.
Maybe 2 days.
Yes,
because she wakes up the night after. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So she's had no time to really sit with these feelings because it's literally one thing after another.
Yeah.
The living council, then the fucking other meeting with the living council now when we find out about the chicken under the sea situation. So it's a whole lot. She hasn't had time to process. Poor Jude.
I know. Right after they have the conversation, Taryn and Jude, I think Jude decides, it's time to fucking rest.
Yeah, it's time.
She needs the rest. This girl just woke up after the next day of being fallen from the rafters, bleeding out, getting her surgery done, having all these conversations. I don't know how she's not tired after an hour of this madness.
I'm tired with less shit going on in
Yeah.
my life than this, and I'm exhausted.
So
Plus, she's still healing. Like, she still has mortal wounds on her.
yeah. And so she goes to bed alone because Carden's not there. I don't know where Carden is.
I would like to know where Carden is.
And then she wakes up and he's still not there.
Carden.
Yeah, what's going on? I don't know. But like at one point in time, that's later. That's later. I don't wanna say too early because there is something he tells her later. But it's still like he never answers where the hell he was at.
Yeah, she does ask.
I want to know right now.
I do also want to know, like, why is you say
Yeah,
all
where
these
did you
sweet
go?
things, but then you leave? And
Yeah.
she's sleeping alone, and she's
maybe
waking up alone.
maybe he just wanted her to have time to herself to heal. Maybe it was just so much. I don't know.
Maybe he is also processing all that he learned.
Yeah.
That he was essentially the villain in her story, and
Yeah.
he perpetuated that, even though he thought it was a game. Maybe Carmen has a lot to think about.
Also, too, it's like they've not yet slept in bed together at all. So maybe he feels like she just needs her space, and she hasn't given him the okay to come sleep with me.
That makes sense.
Because like he just admitted to being afraid of him, like
yes.
you were saying. Maybe
maybe he's processing, giving her her space.
Yeah, and just to figure out what it is, and then maybe he's waiting for her to be like, yeah, come to bed with me, come stay with me.
Yeah,
even though it is his room.
Yeah, right. Well, that's even kind of sweeter. He's like, here, take all the chambers.
Well, I think she's in her room at this time though. I think maybe that's why he never came to bed, because I don't know. I thought he was in her room the whole time, or in his room.
Yeah, I think she was in his room.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think she went back to his room.
Yeah, she's been just holding up in his room. I would too, though.
I would be too.
I'm the queen. I'm gonna hold up in the king's room. I don't give a shit.
This is a co-room now.
Yeah.
I don't have my own room. That's weird.
I think he even tells her that's our room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does later too. So there's supposed to be a ball today. So the day that she wakes up, there's supposed to be a ball.
And they think they just tell her, like, there's a ball today. And it's like, Jesus Christ, if I were her, I'd be like, can I get some rest?
I know. Well,
I don't want to do this shit no more.
And we have to remember they were having like some revel or something, or some party when she left to go save him, and she fell from the rafters.
Yeah, they were having a party
after fucking party.
I'm exhausted.
There is a war on the horizon, guys. I don't know why we're throwing a ball. I was confused last time why Carden was even at this revel to begin with when he left Jude and Maddox camp. Like, I'm just so confused at all this partying here.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I don't know.
Master of Revels isn't even alive anymore, so why are we throwing so many parties?
Maybe that's why, because maybe he had these planned out for a year in advance.
No, it's just like, we're honoring his memory by throwing these half-ass parties and balls and shit. God. I don't know, but anyways.
So yeah.
Oh, she is in Carden's room.
That's what I was just about to say. She's in Carden's room because before the ball, while everybody's getting ready, she's like still in his robes, wearing his clothes, like lounging around.
But she doesn't know about her feelings for him.
Yeah.
She's still so unsure about him.
She like looks in his shit and like, oh, this is nice. I'm gonna wear this. Like a puffy ass.
Smells like him. Yeah. Just cuddle up into
his pillow.
But I don't know how I feel about him. I don't trust him, but I'll snuggle up into his shit. I love the disassociation she does.
She just doesn't want it. She doesn't want it.
No, she does not want to like him at all.
I'm married to him. I kiss him every now and then, but
I don't like him.
I don't like him.
Don't worry about my snuggling into his sheets every night. I don't like him. And he also doesn't like me, even though he made me queen and married me. It's so weird. But I love it. Talk about an enemies to lover. This is the most true enemies to lover book I think I've ever read.
It's funny to me. It cracks me up because that's like shit you do when you're in middle school.
It is.
I don't like him.
And it's so silly, but it's nice to see it from her. And I think I said this like 2 books ago, or maybe on the second book, that it's nice to see her slip into these like really juvenile emotions because we're so used to seeing her being like tight controlled. So it's nice to see these stupid girly emotions coming through to her. I love it.
It's so funny. So so she's in Carter's room, snuggling up, having a good time. I'm sure if there was Netflix, she'd be watching Netflix.
Oh yeah,
watching true crime.
Watching true crime for sure.
But she's healing at this point. She finally gets a moment to take care of herself. And what is it? Bam, bam, bam on the fucking Carden's door, which is super disrespectful. This is the king's door.
Yeah. He must have seen him in the hall or something and known
he was there. Yeah. And this is, so she opens the door and it's fucking Randallin, a member of the Living Council.
Yeah.
He just barges in and just starts telling her that he needs to talk to her.
Yeah, well,
he's demanding.
Yeah, he's demanding, and this fucking conversation that he brings to her is also annoying. So he barges in and says, lower courts are arriving. Everybody's waiting to bear witness to Maddox to arrive here to see what he's going to do. But people have doubts because you are a mortal queen, and nobody wants a mortal queen.
And you're also,
a little bit nicely, but that's what he means.
And you're also the daughter of Maddox, and people are having doubts because of this. And you need to clear the doubts. You need to get rid of these doubts by pretty much stepping down from your station.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why would I ever fucking do that? Pretty much.
Why would I have risen so high? Why would I step down just because lower courts are feeling a little unsure?
I don't care about that. And even in the process of this, she's so irritated by his presence that she opens the door and says, who the fuck allowed this fucker to come in? And like Fan is there. That's when Fan says, you needed a guard. You don't have a guard.
Because she says that she told them, I think she's like at the end of the hall too. She like brings her over. Because Fan is somebody who was also wanting to go into knighthood, and then of course Jude didn't get to go that route, but Fan ended up getting at least to be a guard, and so that's why they kind of have a little bit of familiarity between them. But she says, who let them in? And Fan's like, I told them not to let anybody in. You need a guard. Can I be your guard?
And she's like, deal.
She's
like, now you get your knighthood. And she's like,
what a great way to do that.
And so now she has night. She's like, I need my things, because now she's sick of wearing Carden stuff. At this point, I think she feels ashamed a little bit, in my opinion, because she's wearing Carden stuff. And so anyways, she's caught single-handedly
with her emotions right upon her sleeve.
So she's like, I need my things. I can't remember who she tells to go get my things. And then she comes in and she's like all pissed off now, like, what the fuck? I'm not stepping down from my station. I'm not doing this. And isn't this when Carden comes in? Oh, Carden like knocks. So like Carden comes in, but Randall has no fucking clue who it is, and he's like, I didn't call for you. We don't need you. What does Carden say? He says something along the lines of, most people think that, but not a lot of people actually say it to my face. And Randall is like, oh shit.
Whoops, sorry. I clearly thought that was a servant, not the king himself.
And Grandma Mog was just like, I don't remember what she says, but she was like smiling, like, this fucker, I'm gonna.
What a fucking idiot.
And so at that moment, Randall's like, oh, we're just discussing something, and Jude's like, oh no, and then Carden, I think he said something about making sacrifices. We're just discussing making sacrifices for the war. And Jude is like irritated, and Carden's like, well, I want to talk to you. Like grabs him by the back of the neck. I love this part.
Yes, me too.
Grabs him by the back of the neck, and Jude's like, I could talk for myself, pretty much. And he's like, I have things to say to him. She's like, I could tell him I don't want to step down myself. And he's like, nevertheless, I have shit to tell him.
I still need to say my piece to him. I love this.
As he throws him pretty much into the room.
Because it's almost like the only way that Carden can be sort of protective of her, because she's so badass that he can't really be the white knight for her. But so I love this part too, because this is like the only way he can be like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to say some words to him.
I love how what he says there. He's like, yes, I know you can, but I still have shit to say.
You can say some stuff. I'll say some stuff. Well, I'll let Randall know that he's a piece of shit. And he shall never speak to my queen that way again.
And so while Carden and Randall are having a conversation, I think Grandma Mog and her have a conversation.
They talk about...
Oh, she's got soup for her, too.
She brings her soup.
And she's like, I don't know what the soup this is, but I'm fucking eating it.
I don't know what kind of meat is in here, because remember, Grandma Mog is eating fae.
And she's like, you know what? I don't want to know. And she just eats it anyway.
I just eat it. It tastes good. I won't ask questions.
So, like, pretty much tells her, like, like, how she managed to get into this predicament with her sisters. And she's like, oh, you left a knife.
Yes.
You left the knife and the dagger at my house. I felt neighborly to bring it back.
Then
your sisters told me this whole story, and she's like, oh, I want to be part of it.
Why wouldn't she? And then I think they paid her, too. I mean, that's what she said. When she was with Maddox. So I like Grandma Mog a lot. I imagine her to be a lot different than I think she was described in the book. I don't know. I just imagine this big, burly woman.
I do too.
It's like Brienne of Tarth.
That's
how I imagine her, but
like, a little bit more
like a fae. Like a gremlin. Not a gremlin, but like
a little bit more stocky.
Yes.
And maybe a little bit more hairy.
Yes.
But like fae.
Yes.
So so while she's in there having a discussion, Grandma Mog pretty much reminds her that she's queen, and I think Heather comes in the room, like kind of startled that, like, I don't know why she came there, but she went in there and pretty much told her that she made a bargain with Viv, but didn't say what it was yet.
Yes.
And this part cracks me up, because while they're talking, Randall like runs through the room all crazy, and Carden's just like up against the door, like, hey, what you guys talking about?
We had our talk. It went well.
And he was so proud of himself. Randall's like scooping out of there in a rush, in a hurry, feeling all sweating, I think, too.
Yes. Super nervous.
Oh, but yeah, that was fucking hilarious to me. But yeah, they pretty much Heather and her have a conversation. I think it's them starting to get ready for the ball. That's why they're all there.
Yeah.
That's why I forget.
And she tells her that Viv wants them to leave before Maddie gets there. Wants Heather and Oak and everybody to go back to the mortal world before shit starts hitting the fan, essentially. And then Carden then tells Jude that he's essentially bringing her and needs her to talk to all of the royals because she can lie.
Yeah, and even like pretty much lie by omission, what she could do too. But like she could specifically state, "We're going to win this.
Yes.
We're going to win this." Don't worry about my dad. He don't know what the fuck you doing. Shit like that. Pretty much, and getting them up and pretty much giving a pep talk.
Yep.
So, and that's, and you know what, I think that's why the ball is the way it is to make them feel like the lower courts and everything like that everything's fine. They don't feel like they're pressured. They know they're going to win the war, and it's a conversation starter. But okay, sure, this ball makes sense now that I remember and recall.
Yes.
But like all the other ones, no. Like, why are you reveling in a revel of revels?
We're reveling all the time.
Yeah, we're reveling in a revel of revels. Like every day.
Every day's revel.
Yeah, calm down. I imagine that everybody's sitting around a table and they're having a discussion. They're like, you know what we should do? We should have a revel about this.
We should revel about it.
Stop the rebels.
They got war on the horizon. We should revel about it. We should really get together, drink, eat.
You know what make this war better? A revel.
Let's revel. They're not wrong though. I mean, partying about everything wouldn't be so bad.
It wouldn't be, but Jesus, can you imagine? I'm dying over here. I don't feel good, but I gotta go to this ball.
I know. Well, in their defense, Jude is the issue here. She's the one who's always fucked up. So
she is the mortal.
Everybody else is ready to party. Yeah. Jude is just...
She's immortal. So
she's the mortal who's, I think, and I forgot to mention it when we were talking about it earlier, but when they were having their conversation in the garden, and he's saying to her that she never breaks. She thinks internally to herself about how she's a constellation of scars held together by sheer spite. I love that so much. That is her 100%.
It's so funny. But yeah, so they get ready for the ball. Carden has a conversation with her, but I think there's no time in between. She's getting ready. They get really quick, and then they're at the ball. Like, here we are.
I mean, it is just like downstairs, I imagine, right?
I imagine too. I immediately think they're just one staircase away from a party every minute of the day.
Yeah, they're just up in their apartment area, and they just descend the stairs together.
Yeah.
Which is the first time that they've actually made a public appearance together as king and queen.
And everybody is praising them, giving them hugs and kisses, pretty much. And Jude's not expected of this. She didn't really. I think in her head she knows she's a queen, but she's still trying to figure out her placing. Obviously, because she doesn't know how to respond to some of the things that are happening to her.
And then also she's still the mortal queen, so she's still seeing herself as somebody who is being rejected, especially since Randallin was already you're going to be rejected. People don't really want you. You look like a weakness on the throne. So can you please step down?
Yeah, and there are other people who believe that too. But they're all looking at her. Some of them are praising her, and some of them are just taking a step back, oh, what the hell? She's our queen. But
which I think is almost a good foreshadowing for what Carden does later. It's because it just shows that a lot of the courts really respect Carden, and they respect his decision, whether or not they specifically agree with it. They have that respect for him, which comes into play a little bit later when Maddie gets here. But I thought that seemed like a pretty good foreshadowing situation.
But so she has these conversations with everybody, and she's pretty much the talk of the ball. She's telling people, and as the night goes on, she's getting them gathered. Pretty much, it's hyping them up, and they're starting to feel the positivity. She's lying through her fucking teeth, and Carden's over there happy and impressed by it. And at some point in time, she takes a break, and she starts pretty much conversating with her own family. And I want to say that's when she goes and sees Viv. I don't know if Oak is there.
Yeah, Oak is there.
Oh, okay. So she goes and sees them, and then Viv goes off to get drinks and left with Heather. And she's like, okay, now tell me what the hell the bargain's about. tell me what the bargain's about. And she's like upset. She's like, I think I made a mistake. Last time I was here, she just wasn't right. But now I'm feeling like I still want to remember this. I still want to be a part of this. And it, the bargain is pretty much is Heather and Viv when they get back. Okay, so Viv told her, I need help. You can watch Oak while all this stuff goes down and Elfham, I can never say it. And while you watch him and take care of him, when we're done, we'll come back and I will remember, like, pretty much have her forget everything that happened in the Fae world. And they agreed to it. But now she doesn't want to go back and she doesn't want to forget. And she's like, well, just talk to my sister. And she's like, you think? She's like, but the problem is that she promised that in addition to the bargain, that no matter how hard Heather says that she doesn't want this to happen, like the forgetting thing to happen, that Viv is going to still do the forgetting thing on there.
She sort of locked herself into that.
Yeah.
No matter.
So she has to, no matter. And that being that, knowing the other bargains from the story, they have no choice. It's part of the deal. It's what they have to do. They can't go back on their word.
And then I think Heather even like walks up while they're having this conversation, and then Viv just throws on to her like, "Oh,
yeah,
we're staying," or is it? Yeah,
yeah. So Viv
Heather
walks
throws,
up to Heather.
yeah. Viv walks up to them, and Heather is just like, "Oh, well, Jude needs us here a little bit longer, so
Yeah.
we're gonna stay."
And Jude's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you're staying.
Just a few more days though, because they don't want to be there during the war. They're trying to get them out of there to safety. And Jude's like, well, then just a few more days because pretty much the war is coming.
Yes.
Maddox is
on his way.
Yeah. They didn't say how close yet, but he's
be here any day, really.
Yeah.
And then after that situation, then is one of your favorite parts, I think, where Carden makes his toast to.
Oh, I love this part. So yeah, so every time, like now that they finish having their discussion, Carden gets up and has a toast. And he says a lot of things, pretty much. But my favorite part, he says, to the traitors and the oathbreakers, I offer my queen's hospitality instead, the hospitality of knives. And it's like, there you are, passing off the buck to your queen, being like, if you don't listen, she's gonna get you.
All you traitors and
Yeah.
oathbreakers.
He's making her the boogeyman.
My wife.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, I love it. Because, like, he doesn't have the ability to kill. He knows he's not a killer, but his wife is, on the other hand.
Yes.
A fucking assassin.
Yeah, over and over and over again.
Yeah, he married an assassin. He's so proud of it. He's so proud of it. And he says, they see me, what is it? The hospitality of knives. They see me as the murderous queen. Oh,
Jude
no, sorry. That. Jude says that. She's just thinking in her head. She doesn't really say that. She's thinking in her head. They see me as the murderous queen. But seeing the intensity of their interest in their gazes now, I cannot deny its effectiveness. So at first she's just like, I don't know if I like this. But as he's rallying everybody up, saying this stuff, and he's like toasting her to it, everybody's like, yeah! She's like, I guess that is.
Yeah.
I guess that. Now it's almost like she's starting to see what she's been doing as a positive thing.
Yeah, seeing her true position there.
Yeah.
And it is sort of coveted to have this, like, badass queen.
Yeah.
And
she's earned
handle
it.
matters.
Yeah.
And she has earned it. Nobody can
deny that,
especially most of them knowing that she killed Failkin.
Yeah.
And again, in their perspective, she's this young, mortal girl, took out this wannabe king.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I love that they all just really accepted that. I love that Carden called her out.
She also was the one in front of everybody, and the last coronation was the one who coronated, like, put.
Yes.
So, like.
But I also don't know how many people know that, right? Because all she did was tell Carden that he had to she, like, whispered in his ear, sit down and don't move, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if a lot of people know that she's the kingmaker, though I know that the Court of Shadows calls her that. Some people call her that who do know, but I don't know that the rest of the court really knows.
I think majority, because, well, there was a lot of talk about how she gave the crown to Carden. So they don't know, obviously, that she controlled them, but because there was a part in the coronation where somebody said, just give her the crown. Just give her the crown. I can't remember who said that. But yeah, she was given. Obviously, Taryn took it, or
Well,
she took it from Taryn
yeah.
because there was that whole part. But anyways, everybody saw her give it to Oak, who obviously is her brother. So I think at that point in time, everybody know. Even though she wasn't the specific one like commanding, and not everybody knew. They knew she had a part in it,
and giving him the crown. Yeah, yeah.
So I think they feel like she has a bigger play in with killing Belkin and all this stuff happening, being exiled and coming back, and now being the queen. She has some kind of pull.
She's got some kind of power.
Yeah.
And also, for a while, for a hot minute, she was the Handed King.
She was.
So she certainly earned her place.
Yeah.
And proven it both through murderous ways and also scheming ways. And
Yeah.
I guess enough of it has come through to the lower courts to sort of appreciate that.
And so, yeah, now you're having a toast. There's about to be war against her father. And who better to best her father than her? You know? So I feel like and then here she is telling everybody, oh, my father ain't shit.
Yeah, my father ain't shit.
So like, in a way, like, that was the best speech she could have gave. And she is, I think of everybody, she's the one probably denying it just as much as everybody else in there, that who she is the murderous queen. She's denying that too, and so Carden says it. And it's just like, which is funny because Carden never plays is that's who she is as a person. He sees her as the strong person, not necessarily a murderer. But like, being that he has to play this role in front of everybody else and says it. It's not a lie because he couldn't say it. But the fact that, you know, she now has to see it in herself that she also is this fucking badass. Yeah. She never really did.
Yep. That she is the murderous queen. Yeah, because she's just been sort of doing these murderous events again for the sake of survival and not even really sitting down and processing them. It's just like one thing after another after the next, not sitting down and being like, yo,
yeah,
I am kind of a badass.
Yeah.
I am a murderous queen, so fucking don't break your oaths and don't be traitorous.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna come get you. And in steps Matic. I'm just kidding. I mean, he's on his way.
So yeah, pretty much after the ball. Oh my god, this okay. I forgot this part. I forgot.
This part. This is one of my favorite parts.
So now, like, yeah, after the revel of revels of all revels, they go back to their rooms, and Carden and Jude finally have their personal talk, and this is where she pretty much just says, "Where were you last night?" You know, this is the part where he says, "Where I'm here now." So I think her pretty much just like letting him know, like, I was concerned about where you are. Now he feels like, well, I'm now gonna stay.
Yes.
But yeah, they have this like whole conversation. He tells her that she was his formidable queen, and that he couldn't say what he said if it wasn't true. And
which kind of goes to what you were saying, I think in part one, how much respect that he has for her.
Yeah.
Like how much he is proud of her, and
yeah,
even though he doesn't necessarily support this as his tactic to be murderous, he is still appreciative of her abilities to get shit done in this manner when it needs to get done. And so he is very proud, and like, you're my formidable queen.
Yeah, and like when he gave that speech, he didn't say it in a negative tone at all. He was proud of her.
He was cheering.
Yeah.
Cheers to my fucking queen.
The queen of knives. Like,
yeah, the queen of knives. And then, so then they get a little bit more intimate.
Yeah. They now I feel like he pretty much tells her, yeah, I'm here now. And so like, they like get all close and la 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 la, but they don't really go into too much spice here.
No, it's definitely
very
not
tame.
It's they don't tell you any spice, which is
No.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Because the intimacy is in the moments and of what their interactions together. And I think they're sort of back on their like happy bantering back and forth. And she asks him, like, how did you imagine this moment, or what were you thinking about during this?
This part.
Moments?
Okay, I do remember this now because I thought it went just straight into a sexy time. No, there was a little bit of a playful banter.
I love this part so much.
It's important because it's like it talks about like what he thought about during those times prior to them actually having feelings for each other. And it's like it almost stems into like that letter where it do, you know, and it shows his intensity, his intense feelings for her without him actually knowing.
Yes, but also but also knowing, because she asks him sort of like, how did you imagine this moment or envision this, and he says to her that essentially he imagines her coming to him and telling him to do whatever he wanted to her. And he said, along with some begging on your part, a little like groveling, my fantasies were rife with overweening ambition. Which I think is so funny because he's like,
I'll never get this.
overambitious.
Yeah. All the things I think will probably never fucking happen.
You're not gonna crawl to me and be
Yeah.
like, please, your highness, do whatever you want with me.
And she mocks him, and she does that.
And she does part because he responds to her too, because she's making fun of him, and he says, mock me all you like. Whatever I imagine then, now. Whatever I imagine then, now. It is I who would beg and grovel for a kind word from your lips. By you, I am forever undone.
I know, that was so sweet.
I love that he's like, yes, I was overambitious and I wanted you to beg me to do stuff to you, but actually now the tables are turned and I just want kind words from you.
Yeah, I will beg just for you to look at me happily or just say nice things to me.
And I think he had said that another time too, where he said, all I want is just for you to not like want to kill me or something like that's all he wanted.
Like all he cares about is the fact that she just wants to like not let him die.
Yeah, not let him die, not want to kill him, all of those things.
Yeah, and even in his letters, he was begging her.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so like it's funny now because it's like he was so like crazily intense with the idea of getting her to feel like to want him. He was crazily intense for his feelings for her, that he wanted her, but without knowing. But now he knows what all those feelings are. Yes. So like to like revisit that and to have played on it now, it's just like he can't believe it in a way. It's almost like he can't believe it.
And then also like taking his feelings in the beginning where he wanted her begging and groveling for him to have domination over her, and seeing how that was morphed and how that was not necessarily what he actually wanted. He was just so confused with his feelings that he didn't really understand. But now Jude does what Jude does best, and she's just the most brilliant fucking character ever. She goes and she just like leaves him in the room.
I know, that's so funny.
She goes into the other room and she like gets naked, and then she comes out and then he's naked.
Yeah, and then they're just like, I think, that's
like,
what
she
says.
Now?
Yeah,
no, but
that's what she says, all that stuff. Like, did you imagine it like this? And blah, 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 blah.
Yes, and then she does get down, and she does say that what she wants most is for him to do whatever he wants. So flipping the script and sort of, she's taking control of this situation by giving him the control that he thought that he wanted. It's almost like she's surrendering herself to him. And I love that she does this because sort of understanding and recognizing that like he is no longer the threat anymore. He's not the threat, and the way to show him that she's not afraid of him, that he's not a threat, is to surrender herself to him. I thought this was such a great moment because they had even I think it's when it comes a little bit earlier or a little bit later, but they talk about how they both have armor on.
Yeah, he says it right now. Actually.
Oh, he says it right now. Yeah, so how we have lived in our armor for so long, you and I'm not sure either of us knows how to remove it. But her, I think, doing that is one of the her way of doing that.
Yeah, and she even says after the whole sexy time part, she goes, I looking at him, thinking of them being with him. Now I know the answer to that riddle, which is kind of cute that she says riddle because that's all they do to each other is create riddles.
Yes.
She goes, we just do it one piece at a time.
Yes.
And that's so cute because this is their one piece at a time. And she didn't even know, but that's what they have been doing.
Yes.
Is dropping their armor one piece at a time every time. And it's because Carter's just like, what am I doing wrong?
What do I need to do?
I just want to fix this. Yeah.
And 100%, she had to be sort of walked through this step by step because again, Carton was already there from like the beginning of book 2. He was there, but she had to have this removed, and he also had to come to acknowledge what her love language and things were, because this is also not the first time they've slept together, because they did that behind the.
I'm wondering that too, because I have to go back and think on that. Did they really sleep with each other? Because now I'm wondering if they did or didn't.
I think they did.
Because I thought they did too, but she makes it sound like this is their first time.
I think this is their first time in both acknowledging their intimacy.
Okay.
I think because the first time they sleep together,
I thought
she's saying she hates him.
And she was just saying they were inexperienced.
They were inexperienced, and he was saying, tell me that you hate me, and she's like, I hate you. Like, it was a very it was almost like the build up the release of this buildup, but never still conquering the feelings. And then this is like the first time that they're actually together romantically, not just bang, but to really cement these feelings because they're both being super raw and super open with each other.
And so that solidifies, that solidifies their actual like
feelings.
Yeah, their bond,
fucking around.
Yeah, their bond, their unity, their ability to work together as not just in a relationship with king and queen, and she could take away that whole he's coming after me. What scheme is he gonna do? Like this is that moment.
That's her removing 100%
the armor,
which is again her giving herself over to him entirely, which I think is a funny callback to the very beginning too, when she's saying internally to herself that she has to bow down to act like she's okay with being ruled over by Cardan, which she's saying at the very beginning when she's pretending to be Taryn. I think this is a callback to that because here she is like sort of bending down and like giving herself to him, to be ruled over, to be conquered by him. So great. So much. So you don't even need the smut. The smut would have ruined this, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I feel like it was perfectly written. Like the build up towards it, and then that little bit after when she's reminiscing about his riddle right before they had sex.
Yeah, because what am I gonna now dive into this and read about him pounding into her?
No,
thank you. I don't want to read that.
Also, they are very young.
They are, yeah. They're
like 19, 20.
Yes.
And so it's fine and dandy and all, and like you said, when they're like older and they're like, this has been the theme of what they've done, and then like, but this is not. This is like a young love.
This is a young love.
This is supposed to be,
and it's like a vulnerable, fragile young love,
and I don't feel like
trauma. I don't want to.
What they had behind closed doors is definitely something that should be kept in book closed doors. I don't behind the pages, between the pages that we won't read.
It's their secret love affair. They can have it. I don't want it.
And I felt like it was something special for a young love that's so, like you said, trauma induced. Like that's something we didn't need to read.
Yeah, no, and it would have ruined it.
I think it would have ruined it.
Because how are you going to write? No,
I don't want to read. I don't want to read smut of a 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds that have trauma, that are finding their way in life.
This is their first intimate moment of them removing this armor from them. No, because even if our favorite smut writer would have written this, I would not have liked it.
No. It wasn't meant to be, guys. No. Don't make it happen.
Don't make it. It doesn't need it. It survives well on its own.
Yeah. So after
that, they're back to war talks. Now we hear that Maddox is like 3 days away.
Not far.
He is. We can see his ships.
He's close by. That's what they're saying. That there's word that he's close by. So they're pretty much spending 2 days.
It's like 3 hours away, or no, 3 days away. Sorry.
There's no communication from the undersea right now. Grima Mog is joining them in the room of generals, and she's just like, I want to fight. I want to do it. Have me do it. Have me challenge Maddox. And they're like, no. Like, we're not doing that. Like, calm down. Stop trying to eat people.
Stop trying to eat the Fae, please. Jesus. And Cardan says he wants Maddox to call for parlay, but of course Maddox is heading there to duel him.
Yeah, he thinks that Maddox is specifically there to be challenging him for a duel, and he's like, don't worry, I'm not going to do that. Like, why would I do that?
Well, he has literally nothing to prove.
Yeah.
And he also says that, like, I'm not planning on giving enemies what they want.
So I love that. I love that so much. And this is a time where the messenger just shows up and just pretty much tells them, like, Maddox is on his way now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like, he's there. He's there way earlier than he's supposed to be, like, shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And so they pretty much say, you need to get everybody in place, and you need to get everybody where they need to be. And the Cardan's just like, don't worry, like, that duel isn't going to fucking happen, because Jude is still worried that it's going to happen. Yeah. Jude's like, he's trying to play you. Cardan just like comforts Jude and tells her that that it's hard to work against somebody you love, and just pretty much reinforces that, that they're in this together and that he trusts her pretty much the whole conversation.
Yeah, because I think he's giving her permission to decide what the punishment will be for Maddox, because at the end of the day, he is a traitor to because he's trying to take Cardan's throne. So her throne. So she gets to decide what the punishment is. She thinks about maybe offering him a peaceful compromise, but then she's like, no, if I grant him a boon for being a traitor, she'll only encourage other traitorous activities from other lower courts,
Yeah.
which is absolutely true. So she really just needs to have a firm plan in place for when he's there and what she's going to do. She also believes that Maddox doesn't plan on dying, so he just thinks that he's gonna win. So
yeah, this dude,
which is totally Maddox.
Yeah,
so.
totally crazy. That's just how he is.
Yes. And then I think the person was like, they got 2 hours and then Maddox gonna be here.
Yeah,
so
it's like,
the next,
oh shit.
after this whole conversation goes down the war room, everyone's in the dais now because Maddox has washed ashore. He is here, and Jude brought Nightfell.
Yeah,
I think it's like one of the first times she's been well prepared for any sort of,
like, in a long time. Every fight she's had so far has not been with Nightfell.
Yeah, it's been with just some offhanded dagger, not even
or
like a
pipe.
specific dagger or a pipe.
So yeah, so she's in there and they're going over the final plans. Carden is pretty much telling her. Oak and Taryn and Viv and Heather are there but hidden, and she makes it a point to say it's the same spot she usually would hide when she was there to see events.
And then Jude also then,
this is where she tells him,
has a conversation with Carden and mentions that Maddox said that he is going to duel you for love, and Carden's like, who's love?
Yeah, like, you're the only person I love. Like, that makes no sense. Like, pretty much he's very confused as to what Maddox is saying. And you know what, I'm even confused. Why would Maddox say to her that he would duel for love? Because Carden never really showed any love. Did he mean love for his country? Because even then he
love for his country. Well, I think this is the question we had in last part too, because we had asked who does he love, but I think we had determined in the last book that he again sees these two as just hopelessly in love with each other, even though that was never the case. But that's how everybody sees that.
That's true.
So I don't know if he was like going to threaten Jude's position or something, or threaten and like force Carden's hand.
Specified how he was gonna. He could have kept Jude there, but this is the part where he thinks Jude is dead.
Yeah, when he was talking to her, he thought Jude was Taryn, so he didn't even know that he had Jude in his hands to use.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah, so I don't really know.
I don't know what love he's talking, and that's what he means. Like, who's love? Because like I think Carden is led on to like, who is he referring to? Because he thinks you're dead, and you're in exile or whatever, and he's never used you against me.
Yep, and then this is also the part where he says, "It's you I love. I spent so much of my life guarding my heart. I could behave as though I didn't have one at all. Even now, it's a shabby, worm-eaten, and scabrous thing, but it's yours." So this is the first time he says that he's loved her.
And he doesn't even give her a chance to respond because he opens the door and lets people come in.
Which I kind of like, because it feels like he didn't say it to hear it back from her. He said it to say it to her right before shit was about to go down, and it didn't need to be this whole moment. He's like, I don't know whose love he's talking about. Girl, it's you. I love you. You got my heart. You're here with me. I'm not dueling. Let's go.
I also think he didn't want to hear what she had to say because in the future, like later down the road, he talks to her in a manner where he didn't want to hear what she had to say about it.
Yes.
Like, almost like whatever she would have to say, it would be because she could lie. Because also they're going into like a sort of very tough situation. Maybe he didn't want to hear. Maybe he didn't want that hanging over his head. He just wanted to say his piece to her and go. That was his piece of armor. He just tried to rip off real quick. Yep.
Give it to her. Go. Now we've got some stuff to do.
I don't think he cared to know. He didn't want to know.
No, and I think he doesn't want to know, maybe because possibly he understands that her feelings are still a little shaky at this point. Like she's still unsure, because she even says she thinks of her feelings in this moment, and then after he says it, as he walks away, she's like, "Oh, I love him too. Oh, I didn't get to say it back."
And I wanted to say it. She's mad because he never gave her that chance.
Yeah, maybe that was his whole point. He was like, "I'm gonna say it to you so that you can think about it the whole time, and then you can realize that you love me."
I think that's exactly what it is. He was afraid of. He knows that she loves him. I think he does, but I think he's afraid to still hear, because I don't think he knows. I think he thought that she didn't know, given her time.
Yes.
Yeah. That's definitely the way it went.
Yeah. He's
really good at scheming, even though he doesn't think he is.
Yeah,
but he is.
They both think that they're not good at things that they're absolutely good at.
Yeah. Whatever.
Y'all are great. Y'all are doing great. Carden, I think you're sly and smart. Yeah. Jude,
you're badass.
Dude, you're badass. I can't say it enough.
So what happens right after that? Their conversation. Fucking Madakiri comes arriving in his finest attire of armor, Yeah, and he's like, she's pretty much ready for battle, and he's wearing his famous red cap on his head,
Yes, he
disgusting,
is.
nasty red cap,
With her parents'
blood
blood
on
on
it.
it. Yeah, it's just
Bleh.
bad. And then Carden says, Lord Maddox, traitor of the throne, murder of my brother, what brings you here?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Come to throw yourself in the mercy of the crown. Perhaps you hope the queen of Elfham will show you leniency. And Maddox is now,
I
what?
love his reaction. He says to her, Daughter, every time I think you cannot rise higher, you prove me wrong, and I, a fool, to wonder if you were ever still alive. I love that he acknowledges his faults every time. He's
Yeah.
like, man, every time I turn around, this girl has elevated herself a whole other area.
And not even like a little bit. Like, she has grown into the fucking queen. And it's like, and the stepmom, her stepmom, is like beside him, like, what the fuck?
Yes.
You can't try killing her? She's alive. Well, she doesn't know who tried killing her. She's what could have been dead, and now she's the queen. How
Now
did
she's
that
the
happen?
queen.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of The Queen of Nothing. Unfortunately, we had some sort of video issue and lost a clip of footage right here. So please join us again next week for the finale of Queen of Nothing. If you're listening to us on Spotify, know that these episodes are posted on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, know that we're on Spotify. Until next time, bye.